Fans of Privateer Press's miniature game Hordes have been waiting for this for quite some time, and it has finally been released. This is the limited edition Iron Kingdoms Unleashed role-playing game adventure kit. Alright, so what we have here is a complete game in a box. Okay, here, just take a look at the bottom. We got a Gatorman on the bottom, and here on the top we have a Trollkin. Really great art here. And on the back we have the tagline, "Become a hero, battle fierce monsters, and eat them." So here is everything that comes inside this box, displayed here on the back. So we get the minis, we get the rule book, we get the tiles, we get everything we need to play a complete starter game. And this is for 4 players, okay? Alright, so let's open this thing up and take a look at what we have inside. Alright, first let's take a look at some of the art we have right around the rim here. So we have Unleashed stuff, we have ad for Hordes, the tabletop game. Here's all the other stuff that come out for Iron Kingdoms, and for no quarter, Privateer Press's magazine. And here is all the stuff that's inside. So we have a print ad for the very game that we've just bought, and we have some stuff for no quarter on the back, a bunch of their books and fictions and stuff. Here's a pamphlet for some of the more products they have, level 7, Bodgers, High Command, all that stuff. Of course, since it's a complete game, they have to give you a ruler. And then we get to all the print material. This is the miniaturized rule book. Right here is our scenario book. And then we have the character sheets for our 4 pre-generated characters, which we will take a closer look at a little further on in the video. And they do open up, so you get what would be the front and back of a character sheet inside there. And of course there on the back we have just a few extra things, such as well, quick reference for their special abilities and whatnot. Really great art on this stuff. All their life spirals, everything that you need to be able to play these characters. A real varied cast. And then here is what makes this box so heavy, surprisingly heavy. We have all of these tiles, which we will take a look at. Of course, we have our 4 standard 6-sided dies. And what everyone wants to see, the miniatures, which we will do a complete 360 of later on in the video. And that is what is in this box. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so here are the printed tiles. Some of them are punch card and some of them are just complete printed tiles. This is all punch card terrain right here. It's all front and back, full color. And that is the last of the punch card terrain. Then we get to the full card terrain, which will be the boards that you're actually playing on. And like I said, they are double-sided, so we have plains and trees, we have waterways, we have cliffs. There's all kinds of good stuff on these cards here. A little trick that a friend of mine told me is that if you want to make this stuff last longer, what you do is you put a small amount of super glue along the edges of these things, and they will pretty much just not fray. You can be as gently rough with them as you want. Ooh, look at that, that's really nice. And they will not fray or become damaged. And here is our last terrain card. Alright, let's move on to the other printed material. Now this is the scenario book. And the scenario that is presented to you here is called Hogwash, in which you'll be fighting a bunch of Pharaoh. And this thing is full color. So you see there was a map of the Iron Kingdoms. 32 pages. And it gives you everything you need to set up the scenario, from the tiles to the terrain to the miniatures you'll need for certain battles or scenarios. And of course they give you all the stats and rules for all of the enemies that you'll be fighting, life spirals and everything. Just like in a rule book. And then we have the rule book, the condensed rule book. I know a lot of people have been wanting to see this. So once again, it's full color. It is 32 pages. On the back, there's tips on game mastering if you are new at game mastering. If you're experienced, there's nothing new there. And if you have seen the Iron Kingdoms rulebook before, then this is nothing new to you. I mean, it shows you how to play, a few character basics, it shows you how to move, it shows you spells, and everything you need to cast those spells, from point cost to how long they go off, range, effect, all that stuff. Of course, and then they have some basic alchemy there in the back. Now, if you've been wanting to pick up this box so you could not have to get the full-sized rulebook, this is the full-sized core rulebook for Iron Kingdoms. So you can see core rules. Now, this thing is really huge. Look at how thick that is compared to how thin this is. Alright, so if you thought that you'd be able to, you know, pick this thing up and not have to get the full-size rulebook, that you would have all the rules that you need to play a complete game, well, you are unfortunately, sadly mistaken. So, just to show you quickly here, open up the front cover, and right here, all this is fluff. This is the fluff part of the book. It's the history of the Iron Kingdoms. There's no rules there. It's nothing but fluff. About 100 pages in is when the rules start, and all the rest of this is rules. Rules, rules, rules. A little bit of flavored text, but mostly just rules. And so there's no way they would have been able to cram all that down into just 32 pages. So this is enough to let you play a small 4-player scenario for new players, but it is not going to replace the full-sized rulebook. Alright, let's take a closer look at these pre-generated characters. Here we have Largolek, Lurk the Mystic. He's a male bog trock bone grinder / mist speaker. His archetype is Gifted. He is going to be your major spellcaster for this game. Next up we have Gullen Oakbreaker, the Chief, a male pygmy troll chieftain / warrior. His archetype is Mighty. He's going to be the guy that's going to be taking care of melee combat with your team. Next up, we have Long Chops, the Hunter, the male Gatorman brigand / monster hunter. I know everyone's been looking forward to this guy. And his archetype is Skilled. He's going to be the one who takes care of ranged combat. Although if he gets into melee combat, I don't think he has to worry too much. And lastly, we have Xocha, the Outcast, the Guide, the female Tharn Bloodweaver / scout. Her archetype is Gifted. She can cast spells, though she is a Bloodweaver, so she will cast spells through her weapon. So she will be doing primarily melee combat. And here is our miniatures. We have a 360 here of Long Chops. Here, of course, is our 360 of Largolek, the Mystic. Here is Gullen Oakbreaker. And Xocha the Outcast, our Tharn Bloodweaver. And here's our first antagonist miniature. This is the Warlord Morg. Up here is Nor, along with 2 Slaughterhousers. Here are our 2 Razor Boars. And lastly, here are our 4 Pharaoh Brigands. And that is what is in the box for the Iron Kingdoms Unleashed Role-Playing Adventure Kit. So, this retails for $44.95, and you can go ahead and pick it up from your friendly local game store, or you can order it directly from privateerpress.com. So for your $44.95, you get 14 really great miniatures, you get some really great punch card terrain, you get a pretty good starting rulebook, you get a really awesome scenario, and you get these really cool pre-generated characters. So this is enough for you to play a starting game with brand new players, or this is a way for Iron Kingdoms players to get going in the Unleashed campaign setting. That's all I have for you this time, and I am signing out.